My people, very good morning, very good afternoon, very good evening, wherever you are. I hope you're doing good. I hope you're doing fantastically well. I hope you're managing through these tough times that we're living in. But here we are, here I am, to highlight to you guys and to essentially tell you guys that I'm going to start my podcast. This is what it will look like. Of course, we're going to be gradually seeing many changes, gradually upgrading and gradually improving. This is going to be a podcast called Bucky's Daily News View, and I'm going to more or less keep it around centered, of course, daily news and all matters to do with football, focusing and having an emphasis on Arsenal, but not solely tied to Arsenal. And welcome, people. Make yourselves at home. Grab a drink, get yourself some munchies, get yourself right, get yourself built, go on billet. Get yourself up to the mood for this because one of the things I like to do is talk. I like to talk with people. I like to socialize with people, and I want you guys to engage and socialize with me as I continue this journey with and on YouTube with you guys. So yeah, man, Bucky's Daily News View. We've got a few things to get through to get past, and the first thing I'm gonna bring to you guys' attention is gonna be the fact that Chelsea players have been talking, and Chelsea players have come out and kind of backed Lampard in terms of his tenure, and just kind of positively backed him to be a success or to have some sort of impact. And one of these players has been Kalidou Koulibaly. He goes on to say Chelsea defender is a legend, and like John Terry or any of these sort of greats, he's really up there, and he's backing him to essentially be successful. This is what he goes on and says. The situation is like this for the moment, but in training he has been saying he will support us until the end and help us out of the situation. We know it is a difficult situation for everybody, including the club, managers and supporters, but we will give everything to get out and make it and make them happy. And again, it's just one of them things where it's it just looks like there's delusion, it just looks like there's some sort of blind hope in Lampard, and even from the players' perspective, I do think that they should have stuck with Potter. I believe that he was starting to see maybe not a change in results per se, but a change in the mindset, and you're getting this squad to start to kind of buy into a particular philosophy, and then all of a sudden you change the philosophy again by bringing in an interim manager, which then you're going to bring in another manager. It's crazy. But moving forward and moving on, it looks like there's some interest from let's have a look here, Aston Villa. They are interested in purchasing Calvin Phillips, Manchester City defender or central defensive midfielder, 27 years of age, of course, England international. And for Villa, it would be good. I think Emery is a very astute type of person when in terms of clocking talents and kind of realizing what his team needs. I can remember on top of my head some good players that he brought into the club. Maybe they didn't overall do the business in terms of longevity and being successful, but they were good players. In the form of Guendouzi, in the form of even Torreira, you can throw in there. There was a few good players that he brought into the club that maybe could have had a different future, a different career at Arsenal. But it looks like he's interested in Calvin Phillips from Manchester City, and I think it'll be a good transfer if it happens. Calvin Phillips has gone into Man City to kind of fill that sort of Fernandinho, or should I say, of Rodri kind of absence when those two were not playing. Obviously Fernandinho's gone now, but he's there to really and truly fill in for Rodri, and he can't play at all. He can't get any games because Rodri plays every single game, so you should definitely consider that as a good option. And Aston Villa looks like they're about to secure European football this season, so it'll be a good move for him. England defender Ben Chilwell is set to sign a 4-year deal, contract renewal with Chelsea. I think that's a no-brainer. They're going to keep a man like Ben Chilwell, English talent. Chelsea love to keep their English players So that's a no-brainer. Lionel Messi's father and agent George has met with Barcelona, but no transfer proposal has been offered for the 35-year-old PSG forward. He's 35 years old, Lionel Messi, and he's still being linked back to Barcelona. I think this is going to happen. I think it's just a case of finances and seeing what could be done there. Best deal for everyone involved, and I think it's going to happen. And I think we're going to see Lionel Messi next season back up Barcelona. PSG is just not going to happen. They're not going to, like, if they win the Champions League, if they was to win, the Champions League last season, then maybe I could potentially see him being swayed by that and realizing that he's in a setup that can actually bring him more Champions League medals. But the fact that that hasn't happened, PSG have consistently flopped. It looks like it's getting worse for them in terms of Champions League. They're just going to essentially say, you know what, thank you very much, Messi. You've made us an incredible amount of money in terms of shirt sales and attention and media all over the world coming to watch you day in, day out, week in, week out. But we all know that Messi wants to go home, and they're going to probably make it happen. West Ham are monitoring Manchester United's defender, Aaron Wan-Bissaka, 25. Aaron Wan-Bissaka, I don't see it happening, I'll be honest with you. He's kind of turned it around under Ten Hag. He's kind of fixed his form a little bit. There's a way that Ten Hag clearly understands how he needs to play him, and there's a way that he understands how he can kind of get the best out of himself playing in a United shirt. West Ham's in all sorts of troubles, and I don't see Wan-Bissaka leaving Man United to go to West Ham when they're going through all of the relegation issues, and if they get relegated, most certainly not. So I can't see that one happening. Arsenal open to selling under 21 forward Folarin Balogun this summer. The 21-year-old is currently on loan at Reims, and again, this is like, I'll be real, like I'm not too sure. I'm really not too sure if this is proper, credible. If this is, ultimately, if we have to sell him, then we will sell him, innit? Because Arteta doesn't play them kind of type of games. But we should be keeping Balogun. I want him to stay. He loves Arsenal. He should be staying at Arsenal. We should be, giving him whatever he wants, whatever he feels as though he needs to have in order to remain at Arsenal. If there's another loan at a bigger club, at a more sort of technical club, then fair play. We can facilitate that. But you're just not ready to go to Arsenal and start games for Arsenal. However, it doesn't mean that in 2-3 years' time you're not going to be that guy. So we got to do everything possible. And as I said, one of the key things we need to start fixing, or that is still to kind of be fixed within the club, is the fact that if we do move on players, then fair play. We move them on. I understand that when players want to move on, they're not happy, you just got to pretty much get it done, but we move them on for the right value, for the right amount, for the right figures. Yeah, none of this cut short and cut this. Like, we are Arsenal Football Club. We need to make sure that if we're going to sell our players, we sell them for the money that we want to sell them for, not for what the other club is putting pressure and saying, look, take it or leave it. You know what I mean? Whether it's going to be Kieran Tierney, whether it's going to be Balogun, I'm talking even the likes of El Neni. Let's just make sure that we don't make the same mistakes we've been making year in, year out for over the last 10 years and selling our players on the cheap. Arsenal and Chelsea are among the clubs interested in Wolfsburg 25-year-old right back Riddle Baku. Never heard of him. Not too sure whether that's concrete or not. Chelsea hope to keep 23-year-old Portugal forward João Felix, who joined on loan from Atletico Madrid January. I think this can happen. I think this is pretty much a case of, if you get the money right, clearly, the agent, when it comes to Felix, it's all about money, and if you put the money up, you get what you pay for. So I can see him staying at Chelsea. Maybe he's looking at it from a footballing aspect. He's looking at it and saying, do you know what, there's a bit too much mess going around. It's all uncertain. We don't know what manager's going to come around, but I can see him kind of sticking around Chelsea just for the fact that it's a top club, it's an elite club, he's in London, he's going to get paid incredibly well, and it is what it is, you know what I mean? Chelsea could always go maybe a year, turn things around in a year or two and go challenging for major honours again. Brighton are hopeful of agreeing a new contract with 18-year-old Eva Ferguson from Manchester United. Brighton are also interested in Arsenal's 23-year-old winger Reiss Nelson, whose contract expires at the end of the season. This is an interesting one because I will do business with Brighton for Caicedo. I will do business with Brighton for Mitoma. And I won't have too much of an issue with adding my man into it, Reece Nelson. Listen, he's a youth academy product. He's somebody who loves Arsenal through and through. He's Arsenal through and through. Reece Nelson's my guy. I've never thought of him as a, incapable player, young player, or anything like that. I just feel as though injury, he's one of those, like many other players, injuries has got the better out of him up to this point in his career. And unfortunately, he doesn't play a pivotal part. He probably won't play a pivotal part just because of the players that we have in front and their ages and, the longevity that they're going to have in the squad. So if we gonna do something, if we are gonna, essentially have to let go of Reece Nelson, as much as we might not want to, because he's a very likable young man, he's a very likable player, and he's an Arsenal man through and through. We probably will have to, and if we can use him as some sort of make weight to get the players we want to get out of Brighton, then so be it. Liverpool want to sign Bristol City's 19-year-old midfielder Alex Scott. West Ham are also interested in Wolves. Arsenal are monitoring Bayern Munich's 20-year-old Netherlands midfielder Ryan Gravenberch, who is also a target for Manchester United. Don't know too much. I won't cap. I'll be completely honest with you guys. Again, it looks like we're going to be active in the summer, of course. We're looking for midfielders, we're looking for strikers, we're looking for centre forwards, we're going to look for defenders here and there, especially if we sell Tini. This one here, 20-year-old, it looks like it's someone for the future. Ryan Gravenberch, honestly, I haven't watched the German league in a few years now. I used to watch it. I used to watch a bit of the games before, like back in the days, but for some reason I just don't watch the Bundesliga as much anymore, so I don't really know about this young lad, Ryan Gravenberch, but somebody maybe in the comments can tell me a bit more. Leeds have been offered to pay 24 million to French striker Jean-Kevin Augustin, 25, after being found to have breached his contract. Leeds have been ordered to pay 24.5 million to former French striker Jean-Kevin Augustin after being found out to have breached his contract. Wow, my man's going to get a 24 mil payout that's madness, from a football club. When have you ever heard that? That's crazy. Barcelona are ready to offer 19-year-old defender Alejandro Balde a new contract, but Chelsea remain interested in signing him. Of course, Chelsea remain interested in signing. They always remain interested in signing everyone's young players, everyone's top players, everyone's good players. They just need to calm down now. They just really need to calm down. But yeah, look, very interesting developments going on as we approach the summer. Reece Nelson, could he be going over to the south side of the nation? Could he be heading over to Brighton? Flo Balogun, can he do it? Can he essentially continue to score more goals and impress and rise his stock? Will we keep him? Will we sell him? And if so, how much? Both Man United and Arsenal have Moises Caicedo and Alexis McAllister on the list for summer targets. These will be the players that we will take from them, without a fail of a doubt. Ryan Gravenberch move, it looks like there's some sort of strong links to Ryan Gravenberch. He looks like a tall-ish midfielder, somebody with quite a frame. I can see, I'm looking at pictures now, and it all remains to be seen. Obviously, we're in April, May, June, and I would say maybe middle of May, right up to the end of the season. That's where transfers start to become a little bit more concrete, and rumours and stuff like that. But yeah, man, it's interesting because we're definitely gonna get. We're definitely gonna get some great additions, some better additions to what we've already added over the last 2 years, and it's exciting. It's really exciting. I'm not gonna lie to you guys. I'm looking forward to it. Let's move forward. And there's also some links to Marco Asensio. Marco Asensio has been a player that I've admired, I've enjoyed watching throughout the years. I have respect for, but I think it's just too late now, man. I think it's too late for Asensio now. He's one of them players that he's probably gonna come in with so much in his stomach in terms of glory, in terms of trophies? How inspired is he going to be to, put his body out there on the pitch for Arsenal, for us? I understand that players can have motivation, to win the league when they come into the league, and of course, if you're playing for a top team and you feel as though it's possible, then you're gonna really perform to the best of your ability. I get that. I truly do get that, but I just think, I don't know. Like, I just think, nah, we want to see different talents. We want to see different players now. Put on the Arsenal shirt and come on. Yeah, I just don't. I'm not really, and I'm a big fan. I'm a big fan. But not for me. William Saliba, let's go into injuries and injury news, because there isn't that much, to be honest with you. There's not much developments and stuff like that. Oh, sorry, one more transfer news. Arsenal could target Brighton manager Roberto De Zerbi if Real Madrid poach Mikel Arteta. This was an article from Tuttosport. Can you believe that? That would be incredible scenes if it was to ever happen, but that's impossible. Mikel Arteta is not going to go to Real Madrid. He knows that everything he's gone through at Arsenal, there was moments where it could have really gone left. And I just don't think he's ready. I don't think he's anywhere near ready. We saw, again, in the Liverpool game, things that we can clearly see he lacks experience in, things that we can clearly see, there's a lot he's got to work on. I just don't think he's ready. So let's forget about that. But that was it for the transfer news. Injury news, William Saliba. It's not looking good. Obviously, the team were training today. They were essentially, going through, their usual training bits and bobs, and there was no Saliba. There was no Saliba taking part in that training session. There was, however, Eddie Nketiah, which is positive. Eddie Nketiah, I think, is a great option when you have Gabriel Jesus starting and him coming off. If he is going to be taken off, and Eddie Nketiah coming on, because striker for striker in terms of pace and power and stuff like that, he just offers something different to the Jesus, which can sometimes confuse defenders and just kind of put off players a little bit. William Saliba very close to returning to full training, however he was not there. The West Ham game, it looks like it's going to be too soon for him as well, and that's pretty much it in terms of injuries. There isn't, of course, any particular new development on that front in regards to injuries. We know that what's his name? We know that Takahiro Tomiyasu, that's it, I can't remember his name. Takahiro Tomiyasu's out till June. He's pretty much effectively out for the end of the season. Mohamed Elneny is going to be out for the rest of the season, and that's pretty much it in terms of injuries. But yeah, guys, this is the new podcast I'm starting, Bucky's Daily News View, just to give you guys daily news. I'm going to be uploading every single day on this podcast. I'm going to be inviting guests onto this podcast. Please show your support by liking and subscribing. And yeah, man, I'll see you guys in the next episode. Peace. This was episode 1.